Hi, Dirty Girl here, otherwise known as Karen Leabo, and I am here with my monthly vintage sales report to show you my most interesting or profitable Etsy sales, and I do have a few eBay sales this month as well. These are not all the sales, just a few of them. Well, most of them, I guess. And these numbers that I'm going to quote you do not include shipping. On Etsy, almost all the time the customer pays for shipping, and it's usually pretty close to what my cost is because I'd use calculated shipping. I just really like that better because I like for people to know, what they're paying for. On eBay, I'm tending to do more free shipping these days. I understand that their algorithm favors listings with free shipping. I don't know whether that's true or not, but it might be true. So that's what I've been doing. So I'm just gonna get started and let's see. Okay, here we go. The first item I have to show you are these Mexican sterling silver earrings with turquoise enamel, and I paid $9 for these. I got them from a lot of sterling silver jewelry I bought off of eBay, which will be coming up in a haul sometime soon. You'll be able to see the haul, and paid $9 for them and sold them for $27. And this is a little primitive sliding top wooden box. It was originally a domino box, and it had an ad for, let's see if I can find it. It had an ad for celluloid dominoes, which I thought was really cute. I paid $10 for this box at the flea market, and it sold for $32. And this is a brooch that I bought from, one of my vendors that does me favors sometimes, and so I paid a little bit much for this, but I try to stay in her good graces. I paid $15 for this, and I sold it for $28, but it's a really pretty cast brass, probably 1930s bracelet with these raspberries or blackberries. A pretty large piece. It was really nice. And this is a primitive wooden bowl. Appears to be hand carved because it's not regular. Paid $8 for that at the flea market and sold it for $35. The kitchen, rustic primitives, farm kitchen, stuff like that seems to do really well for me. And I sold another sharpening stone. This is a carborundum number 110. It looked like it had never been used, even though the box was a complete disaster. The sharpening stone itself was in really nice shape, and I paid $3 for that, I believe, at the flea market, and sold it for $28. And this is just a really cool chunky necklace that probably is definitely Asian, probably came from Tibet or Nepal, one of those places. And I don't think it has anything, no precious metals, no precious stones, but it was just really a pretty piece. That came from my sister-in-law, so I paid nothing for that, and I sold it for $36. And sterling silver, Mexican sterling silver perfume bottle in the shape of a heart with this Aztec symbol on it. This got a lot of attention after it showed up in a recent haul video, and it sold right away after that to one of my YouTube friends. Thank you. And paid $7 for that and sold it for $28. And this is a lithograph print, probably from the 1930s, maybe the 1920s. It looks very much like Maxfield Parrish, but I searched and searched and searched, and I could not find this exact print anywhere. It was not signed, didn't have any identifying information on it. So, sadly, I couldn't sell it as Maxfield Parrish, but I sold it as in the style of Maxfield Parrish, and I paid $10 for that, and I sold it for $35. It was in pretty rough condition, so I was happy about that. And this is a Native American Navajo sterling silver and mother of pearl ring. The mother of pearl was a really pretty pink color, which I had a terrible time capturing on photos. I paid $20 for that, which was too much, and I sold it for $52. So it came out okay. And this is a Costa Boda. They call it an atoll glass bowl or votive candle holder. Little thing, not real big. And got that at the flea market for $5. I got 2 of them actually, and I've sold them both for $28 a piece. And this is a little paper mache box, about the size of a big soap box, I guess, with this nice hand-painted ship on it. And I paid $5 for that at the flea market and sold it for $32. And this is another Mexican sterling silver piece. It's just a very plain panel bracelet, but nice looking. And I paid $5 for that at the flea market and sold it for $42. It was pretty heavy, had a lot of silver in it. And this is an art glass paperweight. This is from the Isle of Wight. I paid $5 for that at the flea market and sold it for $27. And this is a nice rhinestone brooch. It's from Weiss. See that there's a typo in the title. But it did sell. These big rhinestone brooches, they aren't selling like they used to. But the good names, like Weiss, still have some following. Sold this for $32 and paid $7 for it. And this is a Morpho picture, which is made from real butterfly wings, which kind of gives me the willies. I kind of hope that the butterflies died of natural causes. But it's a combination of painting and then these mosaic of these butterfly wings, and then it has a big piece of puffy glass over it with painting on the back. So it's kind of an interesting piece. Came from South America, Rio de Janeiro. That came from my sister-in-law, so I paid nothing for that, and I sold it for $28. It had a companion piece that I also sold for $28. And this is another Mexican silver mosaic ring from Tosco. That, believe it or not, is a Cubist parrot I discovered. Signed SMM, and I think I did not figure out who that was. But it's very mid-century. It seems to be some kind of popular motif that was sold a lot back then. And that came from my sister-in-law, so I paid nothing for that, and I sold it for $50. And this is a Jerusalem silver cross. These are very, very collectible. This one happens to be marked 935, which is more pure than sterling silver. It's a Maltese cross. That also came from my sister-in-law. Sold it for $85. And let's see if I can show you the size of it, because it's not very... See, there it is against my hand. It's pretty... It's not a real big piece, so... I don't know. I guess it has some size. But anyway. They sell very well. And this is a chocolate pot from Picard, China. But it was imported from Limoges, France. Also had a mark on it of Deliniere and Company, which dated from the early 1900s. I paid $15 for that at the flea market, and I sold it for $45. And this I'm showing you just because it's interesting. I didn't make a huge profit on it or anything. I paid $3 for it, and I sold it for $19. But it's a document from 1916, handwritten calligraphy, and it is something to do with the California National Guard. It's a certificate of appreciation. It's one of those things that I thought, maybe I shouldn't have bought this, I'll never sell it, but I ended up selling it to someone who works in the California National Guard office, and they were going to hang it there, so I thought that was kind of neat. And this is just a little hanging wooden curio shelf with a bit of a Victorian decoration. I'm not sure if it's actually Victorian. I put in here that I estimated it probably came from the 1930s. But it has those nice little curlicues and whatnots. And I paid $10 for that at the flea market and sold it for $32. And this is Japanese Satsuma buttons that have been turned into earrings. In general, the hand-painted Japanese things just don't sell very well, but this is an exception. If you run into these Satsuma-style buttons, people seem to collect these and display them and compete with them at county fairs or state fairs, from what I understand. I guess. Anyway, these came from my sister-in-law, so I paid nothing for those, and I sold them for $40. Actually, they would have been more valuable if they had not been turned into earrings because they were altered from being buttons. And this is a chain belt, kind of a hippie belt, I guess, brass with a little pattern on it. Oh, let's see if I can show it up close. There, you can see what the pattern looked like. It's really pretty. I paid $2.50 for that at the flea market and sold it for $40. And this is a sterling silver ring with 3 stones. It has amethyst, citrine, and garnet. And got that at the flea market for $15 and sold it for $38. And this is a great big box covered in embossed sheet brass with this floral design. It's really a pretty cool piece. Paid $12 for it at the flea market and sold it for $48. And this is an art glass perfume bottle. It's tricolor Submerso glass. That's what they call this kind of glass that's like done in layers. So it has this big thick clear layer and then an amber layer and a blue layer. And I paid $20 for that at the flea market and sold it for $58. And then this is a blouse that came from my sister-in-law. They call this a weeple. Has kind of these bat wing sleeves. It's like almost like a piece of fabric that's folded in half with a hole cut for the neck and then the sides sewn up. This is something new I've learned. So it has really beautiful embroidery. And came from Guatemala, and that came from my sister-in-law. So I paid nothing for that and sold it for $44. And then I have a few things to show you from eBay. This was a really good sale. I got this Ralph Lauren women's leather motorcycle jacket at a garage sale for $5. And I sold it for $165 on auction. I really had no idea what it would sell for. I saw some of them selling for even more than that, but I was happy to get $165. And then this is a nautical compass. You can see it's kind of distressed. It's got a lot of verdigris on it. Pretty old, early 20th century. Just a neat thing. I love stuff like this. I paid $50 for this at the flea market and was really worried I had paid too much, but I did end up selling it on eBay for $145 plus shipping, which was quite expensive. So that's cool. Happy about that. And then this is a hookah. I think I showed you this in a very recent haul video. This came from a friend, so I paid nothing for this. And I sold it for $65, plus another one that was expensive to ship. It was plus shipping. I think they paid $8.72, but I think it cost me a bit more than that to ship. And lastly, I sold this violin that came from another friend, different friend, who just gave it to me. She wanted it out of her garage. Sold it for $90. Violins are kind of fun to research because some of them can be quite valuable. Most of them are not. Most of them are student violins, and a lot of them have sort of misleading marks. You know, they'll say that they're Stradivarius or something, so they're kind of fun to research. But anyway, that's it. That's my last sale. Please check out my store on Etsy. It's Vintage Dazzle, all one word. And on eBay, I sell as Cara Lennox, and I will have the links down below if you're interested in checking out what else I might have for sale. And please give this video a thumbs up if you like it. And I will see you soon on probably another haul video. Okay, thanks. Bye.